Previously on Quantum Kickflip. I was just going over the details of a very exciting cross-tower delivery.
Do tell.
It's a contract that's going to set up some recurring deliveries from Lansdowne to Wilkie's Candy Lab. We were hoping that you could get your crew together.
I can't believe it's the real Wilkies. I mean, I've been such a huge fan for, cherry imploders, fizzy pricklers, yum gunk. Oh my God, I can't even believe it. We're gonna actually get to see where Wilkie's comes from.
And Hattie reaches into her pocket to reveal something that's kind of brown-black in color. I want you to take a sample of this directly to Mr. Wilkie. The actual inner workings of Wilkie's Candy Lab, including the exact location of the Candy Lab itself, is a mystery. There is a thin zone. We can't get through it from this side. We think that there might be a pocket dimension based on the characteristics of this room. It's probably hot, and it's definitely sweet. Bright colors fill your vision in a dizzying kaleidoscope, and sugary sweet smells flood your nostrils and smell receptors. You see something up ahead that does not appear to be part of the natural structure. An enormous turquoise dome. Welcome to the Candy Kingdom, sweetlings. Welcome to Wilkie's Lab. Everybody, welcome back to Quantum Kickflip, a Slugblaster actual play podcast. My name is Laena. I am your host and your Slugmaster, and with me are 5 of my best and funniest friends in the whole world. And they are going to introduce themselves to you now. And I'm going to ask them the question that listeners at home, if you're on the Wilkie's Candy Lab Discord, you might be familiar with. Pals, tell me, what's your favorite candy?
Hello, my name is David Ray. I play Trev 4, the Heart Playbook, and I have the hyper-optic visor. I'm pretty sure I said this in season 1. My favorite candy of all time is the Caramel Eat More, which was a limited run for like 1 year in the late 90s. It was the perfect Eat More. It was chewy, had peanuts in it, had caramel, and it had the worst design of all time with a gray packaging, because who's going to buy candy in a gray packaging? Me, because I wanted caramel in my mouth. So,
Very good.
Hey, I'm Liam. I play Helix Pinnacle, the Smarts playbook with the hard light board. And sorry, people with nut allergies, but my favorite is anything peanut butter. Specifically, the Reese's family of treats. Your pieces, your cups with pieces in them. Your little mini cups the size of pieces. If Reese has had a hand in it, it's my favorite.
My name is Michael Vetsch, and I'm here playing Woldton Wick, the Chill Playbook, with the Robot Companion. And I think for me, I'm gonna go with the Canadian classic, the Coffee Crisp. Ooh, yeah, it tastes like I'm having coffee, but I'm not.
Hi, I'm Glenna. I play Brinley Zirk. She is the Guts Playbook, and she is the Gravity Blaster, and I love sour candies. I don't care what kind of sour candy. If it has the pain salt, give it to me.
Hey, I'm Robyn. I play Maeveline Xandross, the Grit Playbook with the Photonic Jacket, and I'm a sucker for any and every novelty candy that comes along. If an existing candy company puts out a new limited time flavor that sounds like absolute ass, I will be the person who buys it, because I gotta know. I crave innovation. But favorite of all time, it's Skittles. Skittles are the perfect candy. You can't improve upon perfection. It's Skittles. Skittles is the answer.
And as I said, my name is Laena, and I'm your Slugmaster, and Liam wins. Sorry, gang. Liam wins. Reese's are the best.
I'm Old Man Slugblaster, and my favorite candy is a Hard Werther's.
Oh, Old Man Slugblaster, what are you doing in our episode again?
I snuck in the back door.
Get out of here, Old Man Slugblaster.
Shoo.
I've already left.
Okay. speaking of candy, y'all are in a candy dimension. What? Amazing. You have been tasked by Hattie, by way of post-host, to take a novelty candy that is not chocolate, but is basically chocolate, from Lansdowne and deliver it directly to Mr. Wilkie himself. You have had one heck of a time navigating Web Tower, but you've made it. You are here. And it's time for us to explore a candy dimension. Let's play some Slugblaster.
Woo. Yeah. Yum.
Gold, Star Disaster. You find yourselves in a colorful candy wonderland, surrounded on all sides by sugary marvels. The air is cold and smells like syrup, and the ground is spongy and pliable beneath your feet. Ahead of you, you see what must be Wilkie's Candy Lab, a smooth turquoise dome tucked in a picturesque valley full of taffy trees, rainbow rivers, and rock candy cliffs. The first leg of your mission is complete. You have successfully navigated through Web Tower and made it to the pocket dimension containing the candy factory. Your goal now is to deliver the Lansdowne-crafted candy provided by Hattie to Mr. Wilkie himself. We join you now in this beautiful Candyland.
Whoa, that sure is some sweet air. I think I breathed in a few too many sugar particles.
Yes, I don't know that I've ever found an environment where the air is palpable with like icing sugar dust.
I would recommend not spending too much time here because it is too much for most sentient kind to spend.
This place is incredible. I want to see how they make them all. Caramel kabooms, coconut gonzos, root beer goobers. Oh, lead the way, Bryn. Lead the way.
I can sense your blood pressure rising as we stand here.
Do we need hasware of any kind, breathing masks, logic binders? Is this a dimension that's safe to inhabit without our gear?
I mean, we got our hasware, but I don't know about breath masks or anything beyond that.
And I'll jump in really quick just to say that when you came into this dimension, you felt the air and it was like a lot colder and sweeter than you're perceiving it now. And then your hasware did click on. Brinley did give you sort of a pre-warning of like, hey, we're going to meet in Web and also wear your hasware. No reason. The air is definitely sweet, but you can breathe it. But like, yeah, it's definitely taking a little bit of getting used to this environment.
Wow, so, Bryn, you said you needed to make a delivery here?
Yeah. We're supposed to take a special new prototype of a candy to Mr. Wilkie himself.
All right, and I presume he's in that turquoise-type dome over there?
Makes sense to me.
What are we waiting for?
Is there a time limit on this, Bryn? Were you given a deadline?
Considering he does not know he's about to get a delivery, I guess not.
Sweet. Then, and Maeve is just going to take off on her hoverboard and start exploring this candy landscape.
Okay. Amazing.
Oh, wait, Maeve, you're, should one of us go with her if everyone else wants to head on to the lab, or?
Guys, it's a candy world. What are you doing? Come on!
Helix looks at Walt and is like, yes, you are technically correct. Like, he kind of does the, finger hook through the collar, like, and he's like, I not particularly one for sweets, but the ecology of this place is bizarre, and I would be doing myself a disservice if I didn't collect some samples. And you can't tell if he's genuinely interested in the science or he's just going to go eat, pluck Swedish berries off a bush and eat them. But he follows off after Maeve pretty quickly.
There's a carbonated geyser. It's awesome.
Trev looks at the others and kind of says, well, it seems like people are very interested in this land. However, since I am unable to consume candy of any kind, I feel free to proceed on with our mission.
Yeah, I'm good to head on toward the lab. I'm sure they'll catch up with us.
Friend, they got trees made out of cotton candy. Where are you?
As you know, my favorite treats are green grapes.
Well, maybe they have some actual fresh fruit in the factory and they'll turn that into some sort of processed sugar later. Come on, let's go.
So it sounds like Trev and Wolt are headed towards the lab. Maeve and Helix are exploring the outside of this dimension. Bryn, who are you going with?
I'll head towards the lab.
I'll stick with the three of you for a bit, Bryn, Trev, and Wolt. As you make your way towards this dome, it really does just look like a big ol' featureless dome. There aren't really any, like, doors or windows that you can, like, perceive at first glance. Although I suppose, Trev, you have your omniscience aperture, so maybe I'll give you a little bit more information for what you can visually perceive. There are sort of like pockets where you imagine that doorways or windows must be, but they are basically perfectly blended in with the dome. So Brinley and Wolt can't really see them, but you can just because of the omniscience aperture, and you can kind of see a little bit in. But maybe the more interesting thing that you see is that this is not, in fact, a dome. It is a sphere. And the underside of this sphere is underground. And the reason that you can see that is because underground doesn't look like solid ground. It kind of has similar vibes to when you like look through the floors of Operablum, and it looks like there's like underground tunnel networks that lead into the underside of this lab.
Do I have a sense that this structure is one that is stationary, or do I notice anything like, say, engines or power emanating, or is this possibly a vehicle of some sort?
I think at most maybe there's like a chimney off to the side, or like a couple of chimneys, but other than that, no engine, nothing to suggest that it is a vehicle. It is a stationary building.
So, seeing that there are many doors that lead in, I turn to the others and say, well, shall we proceed in?
Do you see how to get in?
Oh, yes. There. I'm just pointing around the dome, and, there doesn't seem to be anything. It just looks like a solid,
Bryn, I think the sugar crystals might be affecting his receptors or something. Are you seeing any doors?
No, it all looks smooth to me.
Yes. It does seem that your simple eyes cannot see the intricate entrances that are there, and there. Trust me, they are there.
All right, well, can you open one?
Sure. And Trev 4 goes to one and knocks politely on one of these doors.
Okay, great.
So, Bryn, what exactly is this new confection that's brought us down the Candy Brick Road here?
Well, it's kind of like brown, kind of like dark brown, and it's sort of like a square. And I like it because it's not as sweet as other candies, but it's still kind of sweet, you know?
Wait, a brown sweet?
Yeah. Brown semi-sweet, I'd say.
Huh. It's not the most appetizing color, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's like a nice brown, if that makes sense.
Do you think I could try some?
Well, I want to make sure we have enough of a sample for Mr. Wilkie. So...
Totally. Sorry, I didn't mean to push or anything. I'm just curious of why this particular sweet is so important to bring us into an unknown candy dimension and all.
Well, it's the delivery, right? And when I get a delivery, I make a delivery, or I send Trev 4 to make a delivery for me.
Trev 4, no one has appeared to respond to your polite knocking. What do you do now?
It seems that I have been knocking on the doggy door. Perhaps there is a different entrance meant for sentient kind. Would I be able to, maybe pick up on, living creatures? If my realmware lens can pick up on in-depth biometrics and invisible entities and stuff like that, combined with the omniscience aperture to see through walls and such?
Yeah, you know what? Let's get a roll for this.
I think I am just going to throw on a die from attitude, but other than that, it'll just be the 2d6 here. And I roll a 6.
Nice. So maybe what I'll say is you guys, go around the side of the dome and, get to another door that maybe looks a little bit bigger. And maybe as you're going to knock on the door, you engage this. And what I think I'll give you with your 6 is you absolutely do pick up on, some biometrics inside the factory itself. It's a pretty decent number. This place is fully staffed, and it is staffed by people people that from the readings do appear to be operablen, as far as you can tell, except for one reading that pings to you as super weird. Like, you can't figure out why it's weird. It just, like, absolutely does not line up with typical operablen biometrics at the very top of the dome.
It seems that there are a lot of people inside, and perhaps a dog that is at the top of the dome.
A dog?
Wait, a dog? Is Mr. Wilkie a dog?
Well, if he is a dog, I sure hope he likes this brown semi-sweet stuff.
Indeed. I would think that a dog would like all sorts of sweets. Anyways, let me try this door. And if there's no response, I'm assuming that there is no response, then Trev 4 is going to try to get his fingers in between. He's just going to try to rip it open like he's, Jesus trying to pull the stone aside and then try to get inside that way.
Okay, let's force this door open. This is very fun. Let's get a roll. Also, this is a quantum kickflip PSA. Do not feed dogs chocolate. Thank you.
Feed it to me instead.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not necessarily the strongest thing. I am a robot, so as my fingers try to kind of get in there, you hear all the gears and everything trying to whir up and just trying to pull. And here is my roll. I am going to engage in a kick, and I'm going to use another die from my attitude to do this.
Can I help?
Yeah, if you want to give me a die or whatever.
Yeah, I'll lend you a d6, and I think that comes in the form of, Trev 4, allow me to help you. And Carcinokin sort of skitters up, and he's trying to pull back on the door kind of the other way if you're both, pulling away from each other kind of thing.
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay, 3d6, here we go. And that is another 6.
Oh my goodness, incredible. Yeah, so you both sort of engage this door. Tell me how this looks, and I think what I'll say is the door is gonna just kind of melt away after you succeed.
So Trev is just it's pulling, and he's trying his best, and there's all this extra overheat coming from his joints as it's trying to engage and pull back. And, he gets into a more crouched position, and his rocket knees engage as he's kind of crouching down, and they just start blasting into the door, and just and eventually it starts melting it. And does it melt it like a candy would, or does it melt like, say, metal would?
Like candy would.
Oh, okay. So as he's doing that, it's melting it, and eventually it kind of crumbles away, and now Trev 4's hands are covered in this syrupy candy-like substance. And he goes to lick it off of his hand, but of course he has no tongue, and he just kind of winds up kind of smearing it onto his visor on the front.
Goodness, Trev, allow me to help you. A foam jet. And Carcinokin's just trying to wash you off. Maybe he splashes the sugary building a little more as well. Who could say?
Very good. Oh, this is great. One thing I think I will say, Trev 4, is as you engaged your rocket knees and started melting the door, basically, you felt a weird sort of the way that the fire from the rocket was coming out was sort of interacting with you in a way that you kind of weren't used to, almost like your knees were melting and hardening in the same way as the door, kind of. But then Carcinokin hits you with this foam jet, and that feeling passes. The door disappears, and the three of you are now just fully in the lab. You're in this very big, circular, colorful room. The walls kind of are a gradient that go from bubblegum pink to chartreuse to sunshine yellow to sky blue. There is equipment everywhere, full of people, all who turn to look at you. And as they do, all three of you hear a voice. You can't tell where it's coming from. It feels like it's kind of coming from everywhere. And the voice says, "Attention, my jubilant and dutiful employees. It would appear that we have some unexpected guests who salivate for the sweetness of my kingdom. The first one to bring these hungering trespassers to me will have their fructose rations doubled for their shift. Additionally, please be reminded in a most friendly manner that we have a regimented break schedule of 6 hours on, 10 minutes off for maximum workflow optimization. Your 10 minutes is an excellent opportunity to stretch, ensure your workstation is tidy and in good order, and take a brief sojourn in one of our proprietary flash nap pods. Stay saccharine, sweetlings." The voice disappears, and now all of these employees of Wilkie's Candy Lab turn towards you and start advancing somewhat threateningly. Helix and Maeve, where'd you go?
Maeve wants to go explore this candy world. She assumed everyone would be right on her heels. She was like, "Come on, everybody, let's go." She was yelling after him, but apparently other people got work to do. But Maeve wants to do some sick tricks off of some candy landscapes. So what does she find?
Yeah, I'll give you some options. We got a taffy tree forest. We got some trees within this forest. They look like they're all made from kind of stretched sap, and any of that kind of sticky candy. Imagine that's been taken and stretched out into tree-like shapes. Many of them are topped with cotton candy foliage. You also see some mushrooms at the base of the tree. They are extremely brightly colored. Is that just a product of their environment, or are they poisonous? Who's to say? You have a river running along the length of this sort of dimension, cutting through the dimension and winding in every which way, branching off, that is constantly many colors all at once. It's like a rainbow colored river, and sometimes it branches off and then it's a blue color, and then it branches off and then it's a red color, and then that comes together to form purple, and then it comes back to the river itself. And you got rock candy cliffs. These are very high up, very rocky vertical cliffs. They have that sort of translucent color, so they're reflecting and refracting the light of the sky. I don't know if there's a sun in this dimension, but the sky is a bright pink, and it's just forming all sorts of rainbowy iridescent colors in these cliffs. The cliffs appear to have tunnels winding through them, and a cave network potentially. And as Maeveline alluded to, it does have carbon geysers that are occasionally spewing steam into the chilly air.
Ooh. All of these are great, and Maeve is tempted by all of them, but I think the potential for sick jumps and exploration in those rock candy mountains sounds too tempting to pass up. Although, if I may, she'll scoop a couple of those brightly colored mushrooms on her way by.
Yeah. I'll let you just have those. I'm sure they'll come in handy later.
Sweet. Is Helix following after?
Yeah, I think, like he said, he's fascinated by the ecology of this place, the fact that there are candy flora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, he good job collecting those fungus samples. I'm sure those will come in handy later. I'll join you. I like your thinking. I'd love to explore the rock candy cave network, but first, Helix just wants to take a look at these taffy trees. I've established he's got a little bonsai tree back in Upper Ablam. I'd love to know more about these. And if there's maybe any way, are they dropping acorns or some kind of seeds?
Ooh, you want to try and find a way to grow your own little taffy tree? I think it does make sense that these are fruit-bearing trees, in the sense that they are bearing big gummy fruits and hard candy fruits, or hard candy acorns or pine cones or things of that nature. So yeah, they definitely do seem to be producing. What I will say about this, however, is these branches that are holding the fruits that you need are situated quite high on the tree, so you will need to climb to get it. So for that, I am going to make you roll.
You just rolled the one die. Didn't add anything, even though I have all sorts of smarts playbook stuff that would have backed up had it failed. It was a 6, so all good. And if he has to climb, is it fair to say? Can I say instead of climbing, he extends his hard light hoverboard into a hook shape, kind of like he did for when we fought the Viperkin? And pulls a branch down, and because it's a taffy tree, it's got real stringy, stretchy, gooey, it really pulls this very elastic tree branch to its limit, gets it down to his height. I'll take that. Plucks a piece of candy off and then lets it go and just goes spring.
That's so good. So you don't even climb the tree, you just pull the tree branch down to you?
Yeah, he's using the hard light board hook shaping mechanism.
Absolutely. I love that. And so you got a 6. You absolutely get this. Helix is just racking up the other gear. It's fantastic. So what you choose to do with this candy fruit is totally up to you. I will say one thing. You had to pull pretty hard on this sort of hook, and something about the way that you had to pull it, it felt like your arms were sort of stretched in a weird way. And you couldn't really put your finger on what was weird about it, but then, you pulled the fruit down, you took it, and the fruit came back and everything was fine.
Noted, but also moving on.
So, what do you say to a race? First one up to those caves wins?
Love it. Hopefully I fare better against you than I do Brinley.
Likewise.
She's something else, huh? She's a real...
Yeah, if she ever realizes how much better she is at this than the rest of us, we are all screwed.
Agreed.
There's only one question then, and Maeve's gonna pull out those mushrooms from earlier and be like, do we try these before or after?
Helix's eyes light up. He's like, oh, not only do we do it before, but, and he pulls out his phone, and he's like, this is Helix Pinnacle, and these are the fluorescent mushrooms.
You're streaming. Holy shit. Okay, great.
I'm sure the fact that Liam had to roll to get his thing, but I was just allowed to have mine, bodes very well for that couldn't possibly mean that these come with some set of consequences or anything. But Maeve knows that Helix is all about science and even more about stunts with a Z, and this feels like it'd be right up his alley. So yeah, she breaks off a cap, I guess. What is it? Can we get a description? What is this? What is the texture of this thing? Does it feel like it's made out of candy? Does it feel like it's made out of mushroom?
Okay. Those marshmallow banana candies?
100%.
Yeah. That.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she breaks off the cap. She breaks off some small pieces. She's not gonna she doesn't want to kill them, right?
Right.
But breaks off a couple of small chunks, passes one to Helix, and then kind of holds up and goes, for science?
For science.
Down the hatch.
So you eat these weird mushrooms from an unknown pocket dimension.
I mean, it's a candy dimension. How bad could it be? I mean, I got to assume he's just harvesting the resources and selling it with Wilkie's branding on it. I'm sure these are fine, he says in between bites.
Yeah, Maeve's from Thenispar, and in Thenispar, all mushrooms are always good for you.
Well, there you go.
None of them are poisonous, so she has no context for this.
None whatsoever.
Helix sees a typical exploitive agriculture setup. You know, there's a giant factory next to a bunch of fields of foliage. He's like, oh, they're picking it and making it into shit.
Yeah. So, I think, in light of the fact that you have eaten these mushrooms, I'm going to spend a couple of bites, and both of you immediately feel your hearts just start racing, and you're feeling that like you've just consumed a bunch of sugar all at once. But you also kind of can't tell if you're moving like faster or slower. It feels like your relationship with time has just gotten a little bit wibbly wobbly as a result of eating these mushrooms. And I'm going to spend a couple of bites to give each of you the slam of heart palpitations.
Oh no.
Fantastic. The fact that you marked bite to do that, despite the fact that we willingly of our own volition ate mushrooms, let no one say Laena is not a fair GM.
I mean, that's true, right? Like, you did this. I don't think I needed to spend bite to give you a problem. You brought this on yourselves.
And yet...
Well, Maeveline, I don't know about you, but I think I'm incredibly ready to go. Skate
through those caves. I'm gonna race you up there. I hope I win. I'm running so fast and she's as cool. It's a smart item. I'm up I go.
Yeah, how's that perfectly engineered heart of yours holding up there? Because mine is pounding. Here we go.
Let's get a roll and also figure out what y'all are doing on these cliffs.
I think it's just a race.
You're racing to the top, yeah?
Race to the top of the cliffs?
Yes, absolutely. I think Maeve's opening gambit is going to be to try to catch one of these carbonated geysers to launch herself, get a little bit of air so that she can start partway up the mountain and not have to climb right from the base.
I think Helix is going to do the same thing, but I have a plan if it fails. Like it's
okay.
He's going to turn the failure into an opportunity.
So both of you are going to use like a geyser to shoot yourselves up towards this cliff face and this cave?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some rolls.
And I think I'm going to add a d6 from my hard light board. And I'm going to add a kick just to see if I can beat Maeve and to justify the thing I might do.
Sweet. I am going to, I want to take a dare here. A, because I want a d6, and B, because marking trouble feels appropriate for what we're up to here. So 1 trouble, got 1 d6. And I'm going to throw on a d6 for my attitude, and that's me rolling with 3 d6.
Okay, fantastic.
Ooh, and we're doing tricks, right?
Yeah, I'd like to do a trick.
Got to.
Absolutely.
I got a 5.
I got a 5, but I also got a 6.
I see, okay. So Maeve gets a perfect success, Helix gets a mixed success, and it sounds like Maeve is going to come first in this particular race.
So Maeve hops on her board, heads straight towards this geyser. She's working out the math. The timing on this, I think, is the hardest part because it's going off intermittently, and her perception of time is completely screwed up by this mushroom they've just eaten. But somehow, against all odds, I rolled a 6, so she, maybe without even meaning to, times it up perfectly. I think that's it. Maybe she thinks she missed it. She, gets to the geyser and is like, I missed my window. I'm too late. And then it hits directly underneath her and sends her launching upward. I think it's all she can do. I did do a trick here, but I think she's also freaking out a little bit. So I think the trick is mostly just staying on her board and landing this thing. But let's say she gets a 180 off in the air. She does a partial rotation. And that's funny, too, because then she lands backwards, backwards into a cave. She has a brief moment of I did it, and then is swallowed up by shadows.
And of course, that's so typical of the grit, too, right? Maeve absolutely is the type of person who, even if she fails, she's like, well, I'm committing to this failure. But because it wasn't a failure, you committed super hard to looking super cool.
Helix follows hot on your heel. However, he says to himself, activate photon vent, and as he hits the geyser, behind him, a semi-permanent, slightly brittle trail of hard light begins to form, and I think he does a sort of a spin up as the geyser goes. He's spinning his board, so it creates this corkscrew of hard light around where the geyser goes, and then I assume I make it. I guess, Laena, you'll tell me. I got a 5, so I assume that's a success, but maybe my complication is I don't. But either way, his backup plan is to have this spiral he can just walk up if it doesn't work out for him.
Oh, and then going up that spiral is going to take you to the cave?
To take me to the cave, but obviously, you never want... walking another lap is never as fast, but that was just his backup plan for if either of them failed, there would be a hard light path that they could just walk up on the next go.
Gotcha. Nice. I like this.
And it makes a cool looking hard light candy cane spiral up the geyser because it floats in space until it fades.
And of course, you're streaming this, right, Helix?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Both of you, please don't forget to mark a style.
Done and done.
Already did.
And Helix, as you're spinning and making this corkscrew, you get up to where the cave entrance is, and then the time kind of accelerates for you, and you shoot up past it. And it's at this point that you realize that the gravity is pretty different here. Specifically weaker. So I think Maeve, partially thinking that you failed, but you actually succeeded, you also caught the geyser like right at the beginning of it instead of like full steam. So that maybe combined with a little bit of the slowing of the time, the factors worked out so perfectly that you didn't even realize that your gravity was all out of whack. But Helix, you have definitely realized it. And yeah, you shoot way up, and then the geyser of carbonated water and steam disappears. And you find yourself flung up into the air, weaker gravity, and then you find yourself plummeting pretty quickly.
Sure.
So you do have this like hard light thing that you can use to get back, or if there's another way that you can try to get into the cave, feel free to let me know. But we're gonna get one more roll to get you in safe.
Oh, so I'm like, I shot up on the geyser. There's a spiral of hard light going around the geyser, and now I'm even higher than all of it, and I'm free falling straight down.
Yep.
And you've got a free way back to the ground, or you got to roll to get onto the mountain.
I think seeing Maeveline beneath him having already lost, he's like, it's almost like a Looney Tunes cartoon at the apex of this geyser. He just sort of shrugs and lets himself land on his own hard light thing, and then grinds a spiral down, and then just looks up at Maeve and goes, "Good job, you're a regular Brinley." And then begrudgingly walks up his hard light spiral and does a little hop onto the vent, having lost it famously. The stream looks pretty cool, but he by 300% lost to Maeveline. Like,
yeah. Don't worry, I won't tell Bryn if you do. I won't
Tell Bryn if you don't. Much appreciated.
From here, you find yourselves in a cave that actually leads to a broader tunnel network. It's a little warmer in the cave than in the cold of outside the cave. In fact, the temperature change is quite distinct. And you hear what sounds like machinery. And it takes you a moment, especially under the influence of these strange mushrooms, to sort of parse the direction of it. But you are eventually able to like pinpoint that direction and are able to figure out, maybe especially Helix with your smarts, that it is coming from the direction that the turquoise dome was. What do you do now?
You hearing that? It sounds like banging or clanging or grinding or something? Or is that in my head?
No, I hear it as well. It's coming from within the caves, in the same general direction as the dome our compatriots have gone. So we are gonna explore the caves. Let's see what all the ruckus is about. And he does like a little air drum, like.
Maeve fiddles with the cuff of her jacket and kind of sets it to just like emit a gentle glow to light their way, and they head off into the shadows.
I think Helix does the same with his board. So if there's like a jacket shaped light and then a oblong shaped light.
Which colors do they pick?
Purple.
Maeve's is always gold.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful contrasting colors that guide your way deeper into the tunnel network. 5-star listeners, it's me, Laena, your Slugmaster Game Blaster. I just wanted to pop in to thank you so much for listening to this episode of Quantum Kickflip, and to ask that if you're enjoying this episode, please leave a 5-star review on your podcatcher of choice, and tell your friends. Word of mouth is huge for getting our podcast out there. Now, before I continue, I would like to address a programming change for Quantum Kickflip. You may have noticed that we no longer have our tag at the beginning of each episode for the Alberta Podcast Network, and that we no longer have quirky characters joining us for ad reads. Since 2021, Quantum Kickflip has been privileged to be a member of the Alberta Podcast Network, who has provided support and connections for Alberta podcasters for 6 years. As of March 31st, 2023, the Alberta Podcast Network has ended their operations. We at Quantum Kickflip would like to thank APN for everything they have done for us. We would not be where we are today without their support. We'd like to send a special thank you to Fonda Mithrush, Karen Unland, and Brianne Byrne for your tireless efforts in bringing us all together. Although APN's operations have come to an end, Quantum Kickflip remains locally grown and community supported. You can support Quantum Kickflip by following us on social media for new episode updates, audiograms, and more. We are at Quantum Kickflip on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. You can also support Quantum Kickflip by subscribing to us on Patreon. For only $2 a month, you can join our Shredder tier, which gives you early access to all new episodes of Quantum Kickflip. For $5 a month, you can join our Ultranaut tier, which gives you early access plus exclusive bi-weekly bonus content, and there is so much bonus content to explore. We release outtakes from every single episode that is full of goofs, gags, and riffs. We have player interviews one-on-one, and we have one-on-one in-character interviews from Season 1. Dave, as Chester, runs Chester's Groove Station and interviews each member of Weird Gravity. We have bonus games like Scene Thieves and Slugblaster Turbo X. We also have loopable tracks of the QK music that you can use for your games at home. Especially now, your support means the world to us. To subscribe, please head to patreon.com/quantumkickflip. I'd like to thank our sponsors at the Alberta Media Arts Alliance Society, whose goal is to advocate, educate, and celebrate the media arts in Alberta. You can check them out at amaas.ca. We release Quantum Kickflip bi-weekly, so you can catch the final chapter of Wilkie's Candy Lab on Wednesday, May 17th. All right, let's get you back to the action. Brinley, Trev 4, and Wolt. You have forced your way through a door into the main floor of Wilkie's Candy Lab. As I described, it is a big circular space. A lot of it is tables and rolling trays, like the kind that like form these big shelves that you can like wheel about the room. And these trays are absolutely loaded with packaged candy. There are whiteboards everywhere that have like diagrams and like chemistry equations. I'm trying to describe the picture in my head. It's like hexagons and like chemical composition diagrams. You know what I mean?
Just like organic chemistry, kind of like
yeah.
Benzene rings for candy.
Absolutely. There's all sorts of science all around you on whiteboards. A lot of this area is also like sort of cubed off into, you know, like off to the side there's like an area that's sort of walled off and like a mezzanine area that's also like walled off with glass. And behind that is where you see all of the like very sciencey sort of equipment, beakers that are like steaming and have various colored liquids in them, and like burners and tubes and tongs and microscopes and all that kind of stuff. And in this main room, like I said, it is full of employees. and they all turn to look at you in the wake of this mysterious announcement. They're all sort of wearing like personal protective equipment. You can tell that they're all Operablin. You can tell that they're all from Web because, you know, some of them have cybernetic leg bracers and robot hands. All of them have embedded in their right temple a little triangular implant with like a blinky green light on it. And they, in light of the mysterious announcement, they're sort of moving towards you, and they don't look particularly friendly. What do?
I don't suppose you all want to just take your 10-minute break right now, do you?
Is there, other doors, staircases, hyperlifts, any way we could see that is up?
Yes, that is a great point. There is actually some up and some down. I neglected to describe this. Thank you, Glenna. The floor of this space is not completely uniform. In fact, it's sort of segmented into like catwalks and platforms. So there's actually like squares of open space, and there's like a floor underneath this, basically. And directly in the center of the room, shooting straight up in a vertical cylinder, is one single elevator shaft.
Trev, you said the dog was up, right?
That is correct.
Bryn, I think you gotta get that semi-suite up there.
All right.
Trev and I can try and hold off these disgruntled employees as long as we can.
Do not worry, I am very capable at negotiating with employees.
All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the other side, I guess?
If that means you're dying, no. But if you mean upstairs, okay.
I meant upstairs.
The employees around you start like moving into like kind of fighting stances, and with, you know, the soothing light pulsating from the colorful walls, reflecting off of their shiny cybernetic enhancements, it does seem a little bit threatening. And a couple of them reach for like what looks like some batons. A couple of them also go to workstations that seem to have like buttons and levers, and you're not entirely sure what that's about. But that's a thing that I'm planting in this scene. Deal with it. Let's get the distraction play from Trev and Wolt.
Laena, real quick before this kicks off, with my advanced neuroimaging, I can roll to see and record a subject's active surface thoughts. It's obvious you're doing it, but adding kick allows you to do it secretly and or zoom into deeper thoughts and memories. What I'm wanting to do is I'm trying to get a sense, because you said that there's like little devices on the side of their head, you're correct?
Mm-hmm, that is correct.
And you said that there's like these glowing lights coming from the side. It is not impossible because Kindred has probably also experimented with mind encouraging devices. So I'm wondering, I'm trying to get a sense by reading, just a couple of these employees. Is it like they are being kind of commanded and kind of controlled, or are they having independent thoughts?
Yeah, let's get a roll for that. I think I can roll with the results of whatever roll you get.
I'm not looking to do this secretly or anything like that, so I don't need to add a kick. But I am going to add a die from my attitude just to try to like guarantee this happens. Actually, I'm going to add one from my hyper optic visor. You know what? If I could throw in a kick, would I be able to confirm whether or not there is a device, what this device is?
Yeah. You can totally add a kick.
Okay. That's another 6.
Okay, fantastic. So with your advanced neural imaging, you are able to read the thoughts. Before we get into this, I need to know, it says in your playbook that it's obvious you're doing it. How is it obvious?
I think kind of...
Does Trev just announce it?
Oh, yeah. He's got to inform you. So for A, there's a couple of different ways. One, once again, his face is like shaded glass or whatever. This lights up, and you can see that gridded light go over one of the employees' faces as like an announcement comes out of his chest. Once again, this is not like Trev's normal voice. This is like almost from that loudspeaker that he has that emanated the anthem from a few episodes ago. It's that one, and it's going, "Your neurology is being scanned. Do not worry. We are not going to melt your brain that much." And there's and it scans over, and it's like it sends this blaring light from him, and that announcement's coming through. But funny enough, this uses less energy than if he tried to keep this all subtle. There is so much ambient energy that comes from doing one of these.
It just needs to be vented through the loudspeaker.
It's vented through loudspeaker and the light. Like, you know, it's just so obvious.
So obvious. Amazing.
Yeah.
You really obviously scan one of the employees. Maybe you scan a couple, actually, and get a few disparate thoughts from a couple different people. The first thing that you pick up is, we can't bring him to Wilkie. There's no way we can bring him to Wilkie. We need to get them out of here. They have seen too much. How did they even get here in the first place? This is a web secret. We need to get them to web authorities now. Now, and we need to wipe that robot's memory now. And then you go to another one, and what you pick up is logic binders. Why aren't they wearing logic binders? Are they insane? I mean, of course, they wouldn't know. They're not in here. But if they're not wearing logic binders, and you go to the third one, and he's closed the distance and fully clocks you in the face. And Wolt, what you see is this employee clock Trev in the face, but instead of his fist bouncing off like you expect that it would, it like embeds fully in Trev's face. And his face, like, scrunches up around it like a cartoon. And the employee pulls his fist and with a shlook pulls it out. And Trev's face just, like, still has this indent of a fist in it. And then it, like, with a pop, it pops back into place.
Uh-oh.
What?
How does this... You know, do any of my warning systems tell me, like, how does it react? How does it inform me? My face got crumpled.
Error.
Yeah, I think it's just like a little bink error, and then as soon as your face pops back into place, it's like, it's fine. Because you rolled a 6, right? I don't want to give you a slam for it, so yeah. This particular punch was ineffective.
Very good. So they are not being, like, mind controlled. They are of their own volition or whatever.
Yes, and you did spend a kick, so to be absolutely clear about this, the one who is thinking logic binders, you're able to assess through the deeper thoughts that the implants in their heads are logic binders. Webb doesn't get equipment like that they put on and take off. It becomes a part of them. They all have logic binder implants.
Wild.
Woldton, it seems though we need to have logic binders be here. Oopsie. We'll make sure we add it to the shopping list for next time.
Oh, geez. Yeah, as a crew, we really need to prepare better for these things. Anyway, Bryn, watch your logic, I guess?
I'm gonna spend a bite here, because I think that this would have thrown y'all for enough of a loop, that Wolt, like, 2 or 3 of them tackle you. So you can take an action, but now you got, like, 2 or 3 of them just, like, holding you down.
I think while he's, like, sort of pinned to the ground and he's struggling, he manages to sort of muscle out it's time for a shift change. Carcinogen! And Carcinogen digitizes forward out of the Daiba Vice and leaps up into the air, shouting out, "Bubble Binder!" And with this, I'm going to try and make a roll to use weapons to sort of non-lethally back some of these employees out of the way. So I'll just roll my standard 2d6 from Chill. But I think I want to add a kick onto this in hopes that the maneuver will give an opportunity for Brinley to move forward toward the elevator. That's a 6.
The 6s! Damn. Y'all, I'm running out of bite to throw problems at you. I shouldn't have wasted it on the problem that Helix and Maeve just gave themselves. Oh. Why would I do this? Okay, anyway. Describe this bubble binder that goes perfectly.
Yeah, I think as Karsinikin's up in the air again, he sort of like aims both of his claws down and begins rapidly spinning, firing out large bubbles, and they sort of like glom on to these employees or push them back. Some pop and just the force knocks people backward. But as he's sort of generating this large field that covers the laboratory floor, Wolt from his pin position pulls out one of his zero beam pistols and fires a barrage through the middle that pops a bunch of bubbles, leaving a lane clear for Brinley to head toward that elevator shaft.
Oh, and you know she take off running.
What I will say, as you are running towards this elevator shaft, one of the employees pulls a lever and pushes a button, and you feel a pull specifically in your gravity gauntlet. As you realize that you have run past one of these workstations, and it appears to have some sort of like magnetized field that is trying to pull you into the workstation to stay there.
Oh, no.
So you kind of have to like push past this to get to the elevator shaft. What do you do?
Point of order before we do this. Remember back on Empyrean where I had a stolen logic binder?
Right. I think part of how I like to play with these sort of items of the more nebulous, something you shouldn't have and stuff, I think that made sense for that run. I would want to like keep it to one run. Also, I have my own reasons for not wanting you to have logic binders, because the way I see it, not having it is very fun. So maybe what I'll say is that you like remember that you had it, you fish in your pocket for it, and you pull out just absolutely melted garbage because you went through calorium.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Well, I think gotta use that a good old impulse rig. Roll to launch yourself high in the air, use your beam like a grappling hook, or give yourself a boost of speed. So we'll do the boost of speed as she hops on her hoverboard and...
But with that kick that I spent last time to give Bryn an advantage, I don't know how that actually... Will Glenna get an extra die for that? I didn't really think that through when I specified it. Sorry.
I think that could maybe translate into an extra die for this roll for Brinley. Higher chance of success.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll also add a d6 from my attitude. And, I gotta try and do a trick, baby.
You got to, baby!
Which gives me another d6. So, I'll be rolling with 4 d6.
Y'all are gonna run out of resources eventually, right? Right?
Eventually.
I just feel like I know what this number's gonna be.
Well, let's see. You're right, it's a 6.
I knew it. All right, describe your trick.
She takes off running and uses the impulse rig to, like, Iron Man style, like, give herself a boost of speed. And as she gets a little air, and as she's in the air, she whips her hoverboard off her back and throws it under her feet. And continues on that way.
And yeah, you briefly feel the pull of the magnetic field on your gravity gauntlet. And you activate the impulse rig, and so you feel this force pulling you kind of in both directions on your elbow and on your arm, where your gauntlet is, pulling you away and then also trying to pull you towards this workstation. And you fully see your elbow, like, stretch out like taffy.
Oh no.
Towards the workstation, and then you break out of the magnetic field and shoot forward on your hoverboard, and your arm kind of, like, recondenses back into the general shape of an arm. Congratulations, you are not confined to a workstation. Brinley, you are rocketing towards the elevator shaft in the middle of the room. Wolt and Trev, you are diligently fighting off the legions of Wilkie's employees trying to apprehend you, and it is at this moment that we are going to descend down into the belly of this candy factory. Helix and Maeve, you emerge from the tunnels, and as you have been walking, the sounds have been getting louder and it has been getting hotter here. You find yourself in a full-on factory. You can see above you the openings into the candy lab with the catwalks and platforms cutting around it. The walls around you are like lit with like, it kind of also looks like rock candy, but it glows like glow sticks. in like cyan blues and electric greens and deep, deep pinks and purples, lighting this up in just very bisexual lighting. And all around you is so much factory equipment. You see a roller that's stretching out candy into like long, thin tubes. You see spools that are like catching taffy in between them and spinning around and around, and this taffy is slowly shifting color from dark to light. You see big tables that have candy that like pours out on it from these like big old vats. There are vats everywhere. So many vats that are just like steaming and churning on these tables as well. You see like robotic arms descending on them with like pizza cutters and like knives, and it like goes zoop, 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 zoop across and segments it into pieces. Conveyor belts everywhere. Just absolutely full of like gumdrops and taffies and goodies of all sorts.
And this, you said we hit this from what was moments ago a cave network. We eventually find our way in here.
Yes.
I think it's very much like if time is moving strangely, you know how sometimes you don't remember your drive home from work, where it's just like you're kind of moving on autopilot and you're like, wait, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Helix, would you look at all this candy? It's like a dream. What's your favorite? Top 3 Wilkies, go.
I don't know that I eat a lot of sugar. I generally try to avoid this stuff, but one time as a child I did have this sort of little packet of ooze, and he sort of describes something that looks like a Tide Pod, but was like a weird little jelly candy thing that he quite liked, the sort of effervescent membrane, and then the gooey slime inside was quite delightful. I don't know what those are called.
Yeah, that's Yum Gunk, obviously. What is with this crew? You and Bryn are both wild. For me, it's a 3-way tie between nice and spicies, sweet and easies, and cotton candy fine and dandies. I can't pick.
Which one of these is creating Yum Gunk?
Laena, do I see the Yum Gunk machine?
Oh, you absolutely see the Yum Gunk machine vat.
Do I see a Yum Gunk nozzle?
It is the biggest vat of all of the vats, and it does have a nozzle that is like spilling it out in like even gunk chunks into their pouches.
Huge.
Yeah, Maeve grabs the nozzle and kind of cocks it to one side, so it's just like splorting it out onto the ground, and kind of offers to Helix like,
He's pretty excited, mostly just for slime reasons. He's like,
Helix and his slime.
Pretty great, actually. Though the membranes were kind of part of it, and he grabs one, maybe like a big one that's got the translucent membrane, and burps a big green bubble. Great. All right, you're winning me over with on Candy Factory stuff.
Maeve grabs a handful and then places the nozzle back onto the conveyor belt or wherever it was meant to be aimed. Do we see any employees around?
Not on this level. No, it looks like everything here is fully automated. You don't hear, but maybe if, I don't know if you would see. I'll posit this to you, and then you can tell me what your characters think of the situation. You actually wouldn't hear any commotion directly above you. You would probably see it if you were looking up. Classic D&D question, are you looking up? Or I guess classic TTRPG question, are you looking up?
Oh, because we can't hear over the machinery, but there is a commotion directly overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Wolt is pinned to the catwalk above you.
Like ostensibly the catwalks. Okay, no, I say no. We are transfixed with the elaborate Rube Goldberg insanity that is surrounding us, because also it's like we've established the reality binders, and I love the visual of Helix and Maeve slurping each other up some candy and just like, licking their fingers and grabbing hoses and having a grand old times. Maybe their pupils are the size of dinner plates. Who's to say? And then behind them, but there's just this chaotic struggle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to metagame it, but we're focused on the yum gunk.
Oh, don't you metagame a thing, fam. I will reunite you when the time is right.
Can we have one inspiration that is useless in this game?
No, this is Slugblaster.
Ah, well. Yeah, I think with that established, then Maeve and Helix are just moving our way through the factory floor, trying to find our way up to reconvene with our friends, but also like sampling everything on our way. I think we've hit the munchies phase of whatever this mushroom bender we're on is.
Great.
What is this game? What is this game we're playing?
It is Slugblaster, the greatest game of all time.
It sure is.
So I'm going to give you the yum gunk for free, but maybe what I'll say is, Helix, as you grab the pouch, you don't even think about it and you like sit on the conveyor belt and then you realize, oh, you need to get off the conveyor belt, and you like hop off. Maybe you like time accelerates a little bit for you and you feel like this like, whoa, weird pull. And you're like, oh God, I'm sitting on a conveyor belt. You are in a active factory full of a lot of dangerous equipment and you're high on banana mushroom schmellows. Mushmallows?
I was going to ask, we are experiencing, over and above our lack of logic binders, we are experiencing ill effects of those mushrooms?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Like, so double whammy on the bending of reality. Sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to
I'll say a whammy and a half right now. The lack of logic binders hasn't hit you quite yet, though. If you want to continue sampling the candy in this space, I would very much like a roll, please. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Continuing to eat some candy.
Yeah. Can we do a team candy roll?
Yes, you can.
I will throw in 1d6 from my attitude because I'm the grit. And how do I spin this as grit related?
You're conserving energy.
I don't expect things to be easy. Sometimes the only way is the hard way. When everyone else has gone home, you're just getting started. I'm just getting started eating this candy, baby.
And I'll take a dare about it. I'll mark a trouble. Because I think Helix, the reason he's daring to finally let his guard down and succumb to the sweet, delicious euphoria that eating candy can bring you, because otherwise he was always sort of concerned about his macros and maintaining. He gets everything he needs from the sludge in the morning. Why would you do anything else? But much like adrenaline, sugar is also good.
Helix, all that gunk is gonna spoil your sludge.
Liam, you want to roll this one?
Sure. Okay, so a d6 from my dare, a d6 from you, and a basic one. A 4, a 5, a 6.
Yeah!
Okay, great, amazing. Tell me about the 3 best candies that you eat.
Oh boy.
Helix continues to look for other pouch-based candies, sort of Mr. Magoo style, as he's walking across moving conveyor belts that sort of drop him exactly where he wants to be. And so I think he has a pudding pouch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's called a crumb landmine, and it's like a fruit pie, but sort of explodes when you eat it, and so it's called a crumb landmine. And something that's very similar, maybe the end process, the end result of the gummy candy he picked outside. He was correct. They are picking it and refining it and turning it into something. And he gets this weird jelly simulacrum of a cherry, even though in his pocket he's got this very real gummy cherry. Somehow this one's even more artificial.
Very good.
Oh, nice. You found a cherry berry chow down.
I struggling to see the value, and he's like holding one each in one hand, doing the like ketchup, catsup, and then just takes a big bite of the artificial one.
Maeve, I got 3 more written down on my big list of candies that I came up with before we started recording today, so I'm going to use those. Maeve finds a package of Chunkums, which she hasn't found in a while. They're like clusters. They got like a coconutty quality, but with some peanut in there as well. She finds an orb of squish mist. Classic. Gotta love squish mist. And what's a third container option? Finds a whole bucket of dizzy doodles.
Dizzy doodles. Amazing. And maybe I'll say Helix. I mean, y'all rolled a 6. I'm throwing precisely 0 complications at you in this entire run, which is great, because it's candy time. But maybe Helix, with the trouble that you mark, you, reach to get, a candy that's been flattened, and your fingers go into a roller for a sec, and you tug them out, and they are just, 2-dimensional flat. And you, pinch at them a little bit and, manage to get them back into finger shape.
If it's all of his fingers but not his thumb, can he instinctually put his thumb or his thumb in his mouth and go and inflate it, and then they pop back into place?
Yes.
But he's like, Dad, I know I fancy myself a biologist, but I don't think it takes a genius to know my fingers aren't supposed to do that. Maeve, we might want to get a move on.
Yeah, Is this a mushroom problem or a candy dimension problem or both, or we gotta find the crew?
Yeah, would someone to bring us down and ground us.
And just then, I am going to spend my last bite to make this happen. Your delightful candy romp is interrupted as Trev 4 comes flying down from the ceiling and crashes into the ground, having been hurled down by some Wilkie's employees.
Real quick, so is Woldton still up top then?
Woldton is still up fighting them off. You got thrown down, though.
And I see that the other two are here. Do I see that they're a little messed up?
Yeah, probs.
Yeah, you got that intuition and stuff. Our vibe is off.
Their vibe is a lot right now.
No, the vibe is incredibly on.
The vibe is... Yeah, that's the thing. It's not that the vibe is off, it's that the vibe is too on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maeve looks up and is like, oh no, Trev's here. Trev's gonna get us in trouble. Trev can't know that we had the mushroom. Trev's gonna get us in trouble.
Yeah, don't tell Trev we had the mushrooms, okay?
Okay, what if we give Trev some of the mushroom and then he can't tell on us because he'll have had it too?
I think the marshmallow gunk inside would gum up his works.
Right, he's a robot.
He is a robot. That's the reason.
Vox.
And not because he doesn't eat.
Yeah, right.
Also, here, let us help you out, pal. And he's like...
Trev 4 is, getting to his feet, and he sees that these two are out of sorts. I think he clocks that, but he also knows that Woldton is in trouble.
What is it, boy? Is Woldton in trouble?
I'm trying to think of, how he would process of, what is the higher priority. They seem to be, relatively safe down here, right?
No, I think as we say that, we both, not intentionally duck a caramel-covered fan blade. Laena had established this is full of dangerous equipment, and we rolled to hang out here. So.
Right,
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Don't let the 6s fool you. This place is dangerous.
Hey, Trev, lead the way. We're coming with you. We got to find the others, right?
Oh no. Take my hand, and I shall lead you out of this space. It is important that we get back to Woldton. After all, they are assaulting kindred employees up there. The employee being Woldton.
Up there, and we all look up and see Brinley and Woldton.
You see the lab now.
Now, I'm trying to wonder, if I grab these two by, the wrists... Not by the wrist, but by the forearms, kind of like that whole predator handshake model. And if I can engage my rocket knees, I want to launch myself upwards to get back up to where I was thrown out of. Is that possible?
Absolutely. With a roll, anything is possible, babe.
Very good. Well...
And before you roll, I have one more little detail I want to give you before we get out of this space. The space-time ampemeter, Trev 4, in your Realmware lens, pings in this space. There is a one-way portal out of here.
Ooh.
Or a one-way thin zone, I should say.
Do I know, whereabouts is it? Do I know that, or is that another thing I'd have to figure it out?
It is It's in one of the vats.
Okay. Well, I'll kind of ping that, put like a pin inside of his memory to okay, this is where I have to come back to. But there's more important things to figure out and try to get everybody back together. So in the meantime, with the forearm grip, I'm going to pull these two together. I guess I'm going to throw a kick on this in order to, because I figure to pull up the two of them together.
Yeah, you don't want them to turn into stretchy taffy in your hands.
No, absolutely not. And I'm going to also throw in an extra attitude on this. I kind of need this to work. So do we still have any hype die available to us?
We have one hype kick. We don't have any hype dice.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, you were gonna pep talk us and you never did.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do is I have them in my grip, and it is important for you to focus up so that we can deal with the problem at hand. This is a reminder of why you never take any kind of illicit drugs while on shift.
He knows.
But you know what? I still believe in you. Gold star to one, gold star to the other, and I grab wrists, and then I'm gonna refill the hype die, 3 hype die.
Ooh, with your pep talk, fantastic.
Yes. So I'm gonna take another die from the newly replenished thing, use one for my attitude. I want to do this as a trick. I feel like I'm trying to prove myself in this moment that I'm rescuing everybody kind of in this moment. So here we go. I'm doing a trick. Ha ha! That's another 6.
Oh my god.
Lord.
I needed this. I did not roll well last session, so.
I mean, I guess I feel like we haven't had a roll that hasn't been a 6 in this episode.
Yeah, we need a win, Laena.
Okay. You're coming in hot.
That's the thing with dice, huh?
The, robot arms with the knives are whirring all around you, and the vats are steaming, and the conveyor belts are crisscrossing all around you. It is an incredibly difficult and dangerous area to navigate. You could get sucked into a machine or carried away on a conveyor belt at any moment, but you super don't. Describe the awesome way you get out of here.
So as I launch up, and I kind of navigate through all these blades, all of the different distractions. I get up top. I have them under my arm, and I'm going to kind of twirl a little bit as I'm going up, and I kind of throw both of them clear up onto this upper level, and they tumble. I'm going to leave it up to them if they want to do a maneuver off of this, but at the very least, I'm just kind of twirling them to get clear, and I'm hoping to personally land by Woldton if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you marked a kick, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, I think between marking a kick and rolling a 6, I think you can get the two of them out of here and land near Woldton. Because you're twirling, when you land near Woldton, your red coloring has shifted around weirdly, and now you're swirly like a candy cane.
Perfect. And as they're still kind of piling into Woldton and everything like that, I'm getting my taser bolts ready, and please remove your hands from all kindred employees.
So the 5 of you are now in the lab, and I think what I want here is 2 more actions. 1, we got Brinley, who has had a path cleared for her to get to the elevator shaft. So I want to see how you get up alongside this elevator shaft, to get you the final leg of the way into Mr. Wilkie's office. And then the next action that I'm going to get is from everyone else. Basically, the employees are not, fully mitigated yet. They are still trying to apprehend you. And as Trev 4 knows and Wolt can probably gather, they are not trying to take you to Wilkie's. They are trying to take you away. So your role, your action will need to be some way of mitigating the threat, whether it's dealing with them, whatever that means for you, evading them, reasoning with them, anything along those lines. I fully leave that up to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Brinley, you are up.
Okay. Make this way more complicated than it needs to be.
Perfect. Exactly the right
Yes.
amount. Thank you. There haven't been enough complications on this run, don't you know?
Uh-huh.
If anyone's going to introduce it, it has to be the players, apparently.
So, I would like to do a few things with one roll, if I may. I can do kick if you require it. I will explain what I want to do, and then we will see. I will ask you to tell me how you want me to do it. She is gaining on the elevator shaft. She uses her agility pin to manipulate things at a distance with the accuracy and power of 2 human hands to press the up button. She then uses the endurance engine to coarsely lift, push, and pull things at a distance with the accuracy and power of a tractor to rip open the doors before it arrives, so that she can just go straight through and land on top of the elevator as it goes up.
Okay. With a kick, I will allow this move.
Sure. I will happily do a kick. I'll do a kick from the gauntlet. I'll add a d6 from my attitude, because this is stupid. And of course she's doing a trick. Give me another d6.
Brinley's playbook, right? Helix is the smarts and Brinley is the stupid.
Yeah. She's betting on herself. That's what she's doing.
Yeah.
And challenging convention. That's the other thing she's doing.
Yeah.
Why ride in an elevator when you can ride on an elevator?
It's just they're going to expect you to come out of it, so you got to give them a surprise. Also, that's just way more fun than going up to it and being like, boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, rolling with 3d6. And you know what? Because I'm feeling generous,
Okay.
I'm going to take a dare to get another d6. And I will give Laena 1 GM bite.
Yes, thank you.
That's a 5.
A
Oh,
5.
finally.
A mixed success.
A mixed success in Candyland? Unheard of. Not since Helix was vaulted into the air eons ago by Helix's perspective. Anyway, describe this, and I will then come in with your complication.
Yeah, very much like hitting the up button. I assume there's an up button. You didn't say there was, but it's an elevator.
There is an up gumdrop, of course.
Yeah, there's an upgum drop.
And then, yeah, using the endurance engine to pry open the doors. And I like the idea that maybe it's not a straight shot. Like, yes, it's a straight shot, but it's like a tray of candy pans or something. And she jostles it so that they fall off of the pans fall off of the tray and angle upward to make a little ramp.
Ooh, very good.
So that she rides this to, like, get some air and jump.
You do vault up to the top of this elevator shaft, and you brace yourself for the elevator to shoot up. And it doesn't.
No.
But then you hear a voice, and all 5 of you hear this voice now. Oh, hello, my precious sweet niblet. Do you clamor for my gumdrops and my lollies? All you had to do was ask, and you could come to me. A note to my indentured, sweet employees. In lieu of overtime pay, I am treating you all to a luncheon of rocket dust and panic energy swamp water, to be taken as a part of your regularly scheduled 10-minute break. During this announcement, Brinley, one of the employees throws... It looks like it almost looks kind of like a throwing star, but it's not, like, sharp, because as they throw it, it latches onto you and hits you with a taser shock.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to give you the slam of shocked.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the Wilkies announcement, then the elevator shaft kicks up, and you are riding up towards the office. The rest of Gold Star Disaster. What do you do?
Gang, I know we bought Brinley an opening here, but if we chase right after her, I'm a little worried we're just gonna take this mob with us and waste the opportunity we bought her. We might have to lead them off in another direction.
I know a place where there's a bunch of caramel blades and piping hot candy hoses. Perhaps would give us the upper hand.
I guess we could just start shoving. Are there like guardrails or anything?
There's guardrails, But, there's also open pits that, Trev 4 was thrown through it. Presumably they can be thrown through it too.
You said there's tons of vats down below, though. How many jokers are we going to make if we do that? You always got to think about how many jokers you might make in any given action. Otherwise, yeah, it's irresponsible.
I think Carcinogen and I might have something that could buy us a bit of time. Are you ready, buddy? Absolutely, Woldton. Let's do this. And with this, Wolt is going to whip out his Dibo Vice, and he begins entering some functions into it, and he's looking to power up Carcinogen another level here for an action.
What?
I guess I should roll first to see how it goes.
Yeah, you don't want to spoil the evolution and then be like, and it didn't work.
Yep.
You don't get to meet this guy.
So I'm starting, I've got my 2d6 from the chill attitude. I want to add a kick to that from my robot companion pool.
If you want to take anything from the crew page, I realized earlier that I also have pep talk because I got it from Trev. So we need to refill that one more time this run. I'm on it.
I would love to take one of those if I could. And you know what? I'm interested to try and see this work. I will do similarly to Glenna and take a dare to give another bite to the GM.
Thank you.
What's a candy dimension without a few good bites?
Ew.
So I will be rolling 4d6 with a kick. There's a 6 there.
All right.
Back on track.
We're back, baby. I want to see this data surge.
As Woldton enters some codes into his Dibo Vice, he then holds up the screen towards Carcinogen and clicks a final outer edge button, and then the Dibo Vice screen itself begins to glow that sort of cerulean blue, and Carcinogen's little four-legged, about 3-foot tall crab form begins to glow as well, and we cut to that classic Digimon 3D rendered space where his model is spinning around, and his voice plays over, Carcinogen, data surge to Arthrokin. And we see that his shape in that cerulean glow grow larger and larger to sort of like horse-sized. And it breaks off, and now we see in front of them Arthrokin, who is like a large, sort of lobster centaur-ish kind of thing. It's a big lobster. It still has like the 4 legs of the previous form, but its body kind of curves up. But yeah, so there's this giant red lobster. He's got like a 4-leg lower section, then he sort of rears up to the upper half of a lobster with 2 huge claws. And Wolt's close enough that he hops up onto the back of Arthrokin, and Arthrokin shouts out, Tidal Rush! And this roll, I've disguised it as a way to use the robot companion's mobility boosters. Roll to have your robot go really fast, carry a passenger or 2, ditch the hoverboard and hop on. And the idea with the kick is that as he's rushing forward here, he just generates, seemingly out of nowhere, huge waves around him, and that'll be like washing these employees to the side and probably down pits like into a drain kind of thing. And Wolt rides around on top of Arthrokin, rushing around this circular candy lab, just splashing people about haphazardly.
Incredible.
Did you warn us to, brace ourselves or anything?
As a matter of fact...
No. I definitely didn't say anything.
You super didn't, and you gave me a bite, fam. I am going to spend that bite. Easy come, easy go, baby. The 3 of you are getting caught up in a tidal wave and are being rushed towards an open pit into the factory alongside the other Wilkie's employees. What do you do?
Walt, this is awesome, but also, what the fucks, man?
Wolt is so caught up. Maybe it's the weird logic, maybe it's the thrill of having his best friend grow into a huge lobster that he can ride. He can't hear you. The rush of the waves is too much. He is straight energy.
So what I think I'm going to do, as we are kind of tumbling from the force of the water and everything like that, I want to see if I can try to grab the 2 of them before they completely go over the edge. And I want to try to if you can imagine, say if I'm in the middle of the catwalk, either one of them are on either side. So my left arm is catching Maeve, the other side is catching Helix. So like I'm face down into the catwalk. Either two are on either side of me, and I'm going to try to hold them up so they can like potentially climb back up.
Okay.
I'm going to throw in another die for my attitude, which I know people are going to be pointing out, man, he's been using a lot of attitude. Well, every time I pass, I get an attitude back. So that's why I seem to have an endless amount.
Yeah.
Hey, take a D6 from me.
Okay.
I'll throw in one for my attitude because it's a group effort. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. You can have my other attitude D6.
I was gonna say that you could take a dare and give me another bite, but those are good ideas too. I guess those are fine.
No, don't do it. It's a trick. It's a
fine.
trap.
If you want to take it from the teammates instead of giving me a bite, that's fine.
I took it from the teammates, and I roll a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 4.
Wild.
Success! Okay, fantastic.
So I go down, and I have them maybe in my in each hand. I don't know. You tell me what happens as I crash onto the catwalk, and the water's pouring over.
Oh, God. Okay. So, Trev, you don't have a logic binder.
Nope.
You are holding these two above. And Helix and Maeve, you feel Trev's arms start to stretch like they have. He does grab you, and that's gonna like slow your fall enough that you're able to grab onto the rail of the catwalk and hold on. You're not going to fall into the factory because Trev rolled a success.
Yeah.
The complication comes from the combination of his stretchy sort of quality and then this rush of cold water. You both hear a crack.
Oh.
And Maeve and Helix, you're each now holding one of Trev's arms because they've broken off like brittle candy.
Oh no.
Trev 4, I am going to give you a slam of,
The slam, no arms.
Disarmed.
Oh! Yes, Trev 4, take the slam of disarmed. That's so good.
Oh, could you imagine if I was human?
So it seems like y'all have your own problems to deal with down on the main floor, but meanwhile, Brinley, maybe you come through the trapdoor, land in the elevator. With a ding, the doors open, and from the other side, in the depths of this office, you hear, "Welcome, Sugar Plum. I have been waiting for you."